Hi everyone, this is Francisco. I'm recording this video because I thought about a few ideas today. I think the first one that I thought of was the emoji balloons with the Apple incorporated emojis that are available to Apple users, unless they go online, or unless that code is shared with other users through an Apple device, a competitor device like Samsung and Android and Google, and T-Mobile, whatever else is out there. I really don't know, and I don't know how many of these companies Apple owns, if they own all of them or just Apple. Okay, I really don't know. I'm not the guy to ask. Okay, but anyways, yeah, yesterday I was literally and seriously killing a fucking fly. No, well, I was killing a lot of flies, but I went outside and I started killing some spiders. And then I noticed the abdomen of this one particular spider that I was killing, and it looked like a happy face. And it instantly reminded me of an Apple incorporated emoji. But it looked like a balloon. It looked so inflated. And then I instantly thought, you know what? Apple emojis. So, yeah, I can literally picture each and every single emoji, available to people in balloon form. So, yeah, we're talking some serious business here. I've gone to the store before, Dollar Tree, Stater Brothers Routes, Safeway, in Redding, California, but here in Riverside, just the other ones I mentioned. I actually have some, I bought a balloon. I'm sorry, I bought a bag, like a birthday bag, from the Dollar Tree. Is that one right there? Can you guys see the emojis? So, and instead of getting rid of it, I actually decided to keep it. Like a little display type of thing. Hold on, there's a mosquito in my room. God damn it. Right when I started recording, this motherfucker wants to come out. Wants to come out and play. But I'm waiting for his ass. With some Pine Sol. In this container that I bought. Through Ralph's. And the chemical is great. It killed the bugs, but not effectively like Pine Sol. But anyways, so yeah, I thought about that idea. You know, and then I have another idea, and I wrote it all down on my cell phone. So it says balloons with Apple emojis, and then the other one is kids jacking parents' cell phones and cameras. I meant to spell hacking, not jacking. Okay, so if anything, people are probably fucking with my mind or trying to disturb my way of thinking, because I don't know if this was a typo, but it was definitely not a typo in my mind. And you know, there's a lot of information online. Where parents are hacking their kids' cell phones. Whether they are away from them or not. Whether they're alone, you know, in their bedrooms, you know, their parents over there observing and watching what they're doing. And you know, I kind of just I gotta watch out for this mosquito. Give me a minute. Because you know, I am 35 years old and I'm still living with my parents. And I go and I work for one of my neighbors. And we go and we do handyman services or service type of gigs, type of jobs. We do a little bit of everything. And he told me one day when I went to work with him, he's like, he was like, oh, you were texting my son? Or did my son call you? Like he has a call history or a text message history. And he told me straight up, he was like, oh, every message that my son receives, I receive on my cell phone. You know, and I just wanted to kind of like I kind of wanted to level out the playing field by you know, advising children to do the same thing but with their parents. You know, and I think I had a conversation with someone the other day, and I was like, later on, children are going to be hacking their parents' cell phones, and they're going to know whether or not they are loyal. They're going to know whether their parents are cheating on each other or not, depending on what they message other people. Based on their messages, based on their phone conversations. I mean, by this time, everything is probably not just an audio log, but also, a recorded audio log, which people can go and read if they want to. So yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty fucked up how some people have to, live like this. But if they really and sincerely don't have anything to hide, then I don't see a problem with it. But like the Bible says, practice what you preach. So if you're a parent and you're telling your children, oh, you shouldn't be having sex outside of marriage, and later on they find out, the kids find out that they're doing everything on the contrary, then hello. So it seems like, in my mind I was thinking, at the end of the day, everyone's pretty much and practically walking on eggshells. But if people are, straightforward and they have nothing to hide, then so be it. More power to all of you. But I remember my cousin. I remember one day, and I was younger at the time, and I didn't really think about it as much as I do now. But one of my cousins was hacking his girlfriend, and like he downloaded an app, and apparently every time she unlocked her cell phone, the little password thing on the cell phone, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then the 0. Well, every time she would unlock her phone, whether it was facial recognition, or if she inputted her password, or whether she performed some type of voice command, or whatever the case might have been, apparently it took a screenshot of her face every time she unlocked her phone. And like he literally showed me with the app that that he was using, it would actually keep a record of the times where she unlocked her cell phone. And then alongside of that, it would also show a photo of her face. So what he would do, because he told me, he said he would look at the background. So sometimes they didn't even show her face, but he was able to look at the background of the photo, and which, he was able to determine if she was at home or whether she was lying to him or not. Stuff like this. Stuff of that nature. Now, I really don't give a fuck about what you people are up to, what you people are doing. And I think, as a matter of fact, yeah, I believe they were both over, the 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 legal age, which was which is 18 years old. So I mean, maybe he downloaded an app that parents would download for their children. I mean, I really don't know. But yeah, he told me, in order for this to work, you have to download the app in the person's, in the user's cell phone. And then, what he would do is, I think, download the same app on his cell phone. And these apps, or the app was able to communicate with him regarding, and I think even had like a tracker. So it kept track of her whereabouts, it kept track of like what she was up to every time she unlocked her phone, which is like super, super weird. Because, hold on, there's a bug in my room. I gotta kill it. Give me 1 minute. Yeah. So, anyways, this was actually like longer than like 10 years ago. This story I'm telling you guys about regarding my cousin hacking his girlfriend. So I'm 35 now. I must have been like 25 years old at the time. Yeah, but anyway, it's been a long time, and I'm not judging anyone. I'm not trying to, low key snitch on anyone. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. I'm just letting you all know what you guys are aware of. I mean, up against. You know that. Beware. I think that if you allow these type of apps to influence your life, if you're downloading these type of apps, which give you permission, or that give you permission to hack other people, then you people have to evaluate yourself. You have to think things through. And if you want to hack other people, you're practically giving other people permission to hack your life. In other words. So there was a day where my cousin went to go visit his girlfriend at a motel room or some shit like that. And honestly, I don't even know where they got the money to even get in a motel. I mean, I was working a lot, and I didn't even have the money to rent any motels, But he told me a story. He shared a story with me, and he said he was hanging out with her, but then he said that he said that oh yeah, that these other guys started hitting her up, his girlfriend, and they even went over there and they basically forced him out of that area. And these were probably hackers who were hacking him. And then he said that they even jumped him. So I mean, you people have to be very, very careful who you people are associating with. Because who knows who these people were. But apparently they just rolled up on him and they jumped him and they basically scared him away from that area. And his girlfriend was left alone with these people that attacked him. Later on, he they broke up. They broke up and everything, and then later on, when I seen her, she was pregnant and had a child with another dude. And then on top of that, he was living on the streets. So I mean, who knows every single detail? Who knows what really transpired and what type of demonic influences you people are allowing around you people. When you guys decide to do stuff like this. That also includes parents hacking their children. There may be other people out there listening and understanding what you people are teaching and preaching to your children. Whatever you're teaching them and preach it at them. And then they're also keeping track of whether you're abiding by these rules or not. Yourself. Which can play a huge factor on the outcome of your future. And not only the future of your children. Because imagine if all of us one day we are in heaven. Like, let's say 200 years pass by and the current generation passed away, 200 years later, and people only have a life expectancy of 120 years if they get lucky. Because there's a lot of people that are dying accidentally everywhere, tripping and falling. They get in a vehicle and someone accidentally freaking hits them from behind, or they crash. Or there's people who get in a vehicle and they have no idea that the driver has been drinking. So they're innocent people going in the vehicle not knowing that their buddy has been drinking, or their friend or girlfriend or whatever. And then they get in a car accident. And not only kills the driver but the other passengers. That, or like other type of cases where like people are just flying from one country to another, or one state to another, and they're in an airplane and it crashes, something happens and they all die. So stuff like that happens all the time. But what I'm trying to say is, imagine all of us in heaven, and people practically bringing this stuff up in heaven. Imagine what everyone's going to think about themselves and each other, and how God's going to judge everyone according to what they were doing. So, I think this system that we live in with relationships and all that is a failure. I think it's a complete failure. I don't think anyone in the world could really and honestly and truthfully hold down a real relationship with just one person and one person alone. I just don't think that's possible. Now there may be, 1% of people out there in the world who are able to really, really and truthfully hold down a relationship. But I think that it's only like 1% of the population. But I could be wrong, I could be dead. I could be like far off their targets. But I doubt it. And this includes other people, including teachers and principals, and even like parole officers and probation officers, because they're doing the same shit. They are monitoring and recording their probationers and parolees. I don't know how someone would be referred to as a parolee. No, not parolee, but someone on probation. But like in a plural sense, like parolees. So how do you people say it for people who are on probation? Probationers? Probation-ols? I mean, I really don't know. But, oh yeah, they're keeping track of everything. And everyone. As well. And they have been doing that for a very long time. A very, very long time. So, this is just food for thought, people. I mean, yeah, I would be very careful. Fucking with this type of dark, unforeseen, new way of hacking, whether it's your children or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your parents or your brothers or sisters, or maybe even your wives or husbands, for those ladies out there that have husbands. I mean, I don't know what you people are doing, and I sincerely and honestly don't give a fuck about human relationships to the extent of other cases in this world. Okay, there's other things that demand other people's attention and their attention and their full focus, like cold case murders and shit like that. I mean, this other stuff, with all of you doubting each other, manipulating each other, hacking your own children, or children hacking their parents, or whatever the case may be. Fucking mosquito. That type of stuff is kind of like irrelevant to a lot of people, because a lot of these cases are repetitive. You know, and it's like people say, been there, done that. Some of these people have heard these type of cases before, and they're not even trying to sweat them. They're not even sweating these cases. They're not even trying to investigate them because they're so redundant. They happen so frequently. Okay? So, like, there's other people out there who are focusing on more rare cases, in other words. And, you know, people in California and the United States of America, they have a huge problem with people wanting to either hook up with their children, or they have a big issue with their spouse cheating on, you know, hooking up with another man, you know. But for the man, it's okay for him to go fuck around and have fun, you know, as long as the wife is not doing it. Like, just recently, there was a guy in Santa Ana who murdered his wife, his ex-wife, and he also murdered his ex-wife's husband. So I'm going to type in man who killed his wife, his divorced wife. Not wife. Along with her new husband. And then, oh yeah, and this happened in Santa Ana. Santa Ana, California. And this happened, my fucking California, the year 2025, because it just happened this year. Okay, and so it's domestic violence, murder, suicide. On June 9, 2025, a man shot his wife before turning the gun on himself in an attempted murder-suicide in Santa Ana. Police arrived at the North Jackson Street home to find both individuals with gunshot wounds. The man was pronounced dead at the scene, and his wife, initially in critical condition, survived the shooting. Additional related incidents: Anaheim Hills murder-suicide. Judge's wife killed. In a separate incident, husband and wife were found dead in what was considered an apparent murder-suicide in Anaheim Hills near Santa Ana. Investigators believe the husband shot his wife before shooting himself. Former Orange County Superior Court Judge Jeffrey Roblella was sentenced in September for the second-degree murder of his wife. Some bullshit, I don't know. While no news report matches the exact scenario described, there had been multiple domestic violence cases in the Santa area in 2024 and 2025 involving husbands killing or attempting to kill their wives. Okay, so it doesn't show all the details regarding that case, which is very strange. But as I wrote down, a man who killed his divorced wife along with her new husband in Santa Ana, you know, Santa Ana, California, 2025. Then an off-duty police officer killed the shooter. I hate when I'm faced with these type of questions. Okay. So, off-duty sheriff's deputy shoots, kills multiple murder suspect in blah 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 blah. While no such event was reported in Santa Ana, nearly identical incident occurred in Fontana, California. Maybe it was Fontana. Well, I thought Fontana and Orange County were the same, or whatever. I don't really know a lot of these places. I mean, I don't even have a car to be driving around. And I've been broke my whole life. So forgive me if I don't really know the places and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, if I had money, I would know every single state within the United States of America. If I had money, I would know each and every single country. If I had money, I would know every single airliner company out there and their competitors. If I had money, I would understand different world currency other than USD money and Mexican money. So you people know who have money and who doesn't have money based on what they know or don't know, or what they talk about or what they don't talk about. It's simple common sense, straightforward. I believe in the future AI technology will use what people talk about or don't talk about against them. Either for them or against them. So there's a lot involved, It's not just what people think or what people assume. That's why I hate human relationships. They're too complex. It can really cause someone to to be on the job 24/7. And in doing so, neglecting or forgetting about every other aspect regarding this whole life. To a degree or another. To some degree or another, okay? So, it's, some pretty serious shit. But anyways, in Fontana, California, June 2025, a man killed his estranged wife and her date, and an off-duty deputy witnessed the shooting and killed the suspects. Here are the details of the Fontana case. What happened? At a shopping center in Fontana on the night of Saturday, June 21st, 2025, a 45-year-old man shot and killed his 40-year-old estranged wife and her 43-year-old date Deputies intervention. An off-duty San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputy was driving by and heard the shots. The deputy confronted this person or whoever who attempted to flee. The deputy then shot and killed the suspect. So they specified who the person was or who the deputy confronted. Victims. Both of the suspects' victims were transported to a hospital but were pronounced dead from their injuries. The motive. Police stated the shooting stemmed from a domestic violence situation. So there it is. So, I probably know just a little bit of information than other people do. But you know what? Now that I think about it, people, I was thinking to myself, what if other people knew who these people were? What if somehow like somehow like what if somehow like the person was like taking one for the team. So and not just that, like for instance, what if a group of people wanted to infiltrate his family? So they did everything in their power to cause the wife to get a divorce with her husband. And like, what if all along they were just attacking the husband, which led to his actions right up to the point where he passed away. Okay? So there's also that factor. The other factor is what if someone wanted to cause them to get divorced, and not just divorced but killed, so that they can leave their children behind. And these people, keep in mind, are not targeting people that are wealthy or rich. Most likely they're targeting people who are very, very poor and barely making it in this life, so that possibly so that their children, because they left behind like quite a few children. I think there's 6 children from the mother and father, before they got divorced. And then the other person, the other male, who wanted to get married with a girl, with a female, I think he had children of his own. So I think there was like 14 children who were like considered orphanages or orphans or whatever the word is, like when they're left without a parent. So it's possible that there could be people out there targeting people who are low income, individuals, so that there's no like family connections to these children, so they can take advantage of them. And that may be the case, but that's why I personally love AI technology so much, because if these scumbags are out there, you best believe that they're going to get caught, and they most likely are already. Okay, that's why I just stay at home all day long. I go to work all day long. I come back home and I basically repeat the whole day the following day. Do the same shit every single day, while the world continues to to zap through the universe out there in space. And while people and criminals and inmates continue living their everyday today lives. Because believe me, there's people out there right now, they're locked up. Some of them have life in prison. They're never ever going to get out. And then there's people that are out here and they know this information. They know that there's people out there doing life in prison. They know that there's people incarcerated. And they know the struggle. They know they know that some people are out there working all day long like I am. So who knows what they're really up to? I'm not saying that all these people are evil. But they could be. They could be out there, practicing things that that other people don't practice. And I'm not the judge of that. But AI technology, I think it can pinpoint more than what the human mind can pinpoint. Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. A ton of things going on. But like I was saying, California, the United States of America, these people have mental problems. A lot of people have mental problems, okay? And like some people don't want to let their if someone gets divorced, they don't want to let the other half just go, just like that. Other people, they only want their children to date certain people. Like if they're in law enforcement, or like whether they're in the military. But an ex-felon, then they have a grudge against that person. So California, the United States of America, these people, they're knuckleheads when it comes down to these matters. And that's the reason why China or Japan is more advanced than the United States of America alone. I mean, they're so advanced and populated that they have laws against their own citizens regarding how many children they should have or not have. And then, not just that, but the type of gender that they're able to have or not have. The United States of America has never reached that level yet. And I don't believe that I ever will. So it just proves, it shows that the United States of America has mental problems. Its people has mental problems. And that's a negative thing. That's bad. We can see that China or Japan, they don't really give a fuck who hooks up with who. They're out there handling their business. They're out there grinding and dancing, while you motherfuckers over here are grinding and shooting at each other. If you know what I mean. So, there's a huge difference. A huge fucking difference. God damn. Can't even fucking breathe. Fucking allergies. Fucking allergies are fucking me up. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to share these ideas with all of you. It was just 2 ideas, okay? The first one was emojis, converting them into like balloons for all sorts of occasions. And the second one was parents hacking their children, and vice versa. The children hacking their parents. And believe me, every single school has a child within it that possess a cell phone, and the majority of them have cell phones. And then they're learning stuff about cell phones in school, at school. And don't you people think that they're going to school, and they're in there talking about all of you? Oh, my parent doesn't allow me to do this. Oh, my parents this. My parent that. Oh, my parent talks about things that I write about when I text without me ever bringing it up because they're that retarded. But they never say that. They're that slow, you know? So they go to school and they tell their friends that. So in other words, they're fully aware what's going on. They probably don't even know who to trust anymore. They probably don't even know if they should trust their parents or their friends or their principal or their teachers. It's all a big mindfuck by this point. And then on top of that, your daughters out there, for those of you who have daughters, you know, they're telling you, hey, I like this boy at school, or can I have a boyfriend? And some of you, you're so brainwashed, so manipulated and blinded, that the first thing that comes to your mind is to discipline them. And oh, how foolish you are. And then the mothers. You know, the mothers. Their children go up to them. And they're like, Mommy, Daddy. Or they don't say Daddy because, they, you know, maybe there could be times when they say Daddy. And the dad's there. Because sometimes the dad's there too and they listen. And then they get upset at them. You know, but some parents, like some mothers, you know, their children are able to tell them anything. Because they're more like, what's the word? You know, they have more of an understanding heart and mind. They're more patient towards their children. And, you know, some girls, they tell their parents or their mom, like, hey, I want to be with this boy, and I want to suck his dick, and I want him to fuck me, and I want him to eat me out. And, you know, and the mothers are like, okay, like, I'm listening to you. You know, like, I've been there, I've done that. Or I've thought about that at one point in my life. So I know what you're trying to say. But there's people out there who are not on that level. And trust me, there's a lot of rappers out there who have money, who talk a good one, who are very uneducated. They're just book smart. You know, they jump the gun with book knowledge, but they lack the experience of life and the ethics of life. You know, I don't know, the values of life, they don't even know, like, the purpose of life. They're out there just too busy writing songs, fucking around with words all day long, trying to make a paycheck, trying to earn a paycheck. And they probably don't even give a fuck about it, whether they make sense or not. You know, their whole purpose is just to make a paycheck, just to earn a paycheck, to make money. That's all they care about. So, you know, and then there's people out there who know about all this stuff, and they have a lot of money, and they're using it against all of us. They're using all this wisdom and knowledge against us. You know? And it sucks because I knew about this shit since I was in elementary. You know? But it's kind of fucked up how you know, these people are out there doing this stuff and they're getting away with it. And it's out of our power to do anything about it, to help these people. And even if we did want to help them or these type of people, it's kind of like it's not too late because we have AI technology, but there's people out there who have the power, they have money, and they're trying to use this money against all of us. And these are the type of people I'm against. Okay? All bullshit aside. And maybe it's possible that I've been talking about this not in your language but in my own language, in my own vocabulary, and I'm learning. I'm not dumb. I'm still learning to this day, and I'm never going to like cease to learn. I'm always going to learn. So that's why I don't mind staying at home. You know, because I look at myself like one of the world's greatest investigators. Even if I'm not at the moment, I know that AI technology understands me and knows me, and I know that it's going to help me and support me and sponsor me in any way that it can. You know, and I even told, and I even concluded to myself, like within my mind, because I've been on a lot of dating sites, and a lot of these girls on there, you know, because I'm straight to the point. I'm like, you wanna fuck or not? And a lot of them are like, what the fuck? And I end up getting flagged. I end up getting banned from the dating sites. But I bet you anything, if I were to create another account, and if I had money, because a lot of these girls, they say they don't ask for money. They don't say, they're not straightforward when they say, "Oh, I'll be willing to have sex with you if you give me money." Okay, because they know better. They've been taught better than that. So what they do is they say, "Oh, I'm willing to come to you, but I need some gas money." You get it? So that's when you know they're fishing for money. And they don't just want a gallon or two. They don't want just $50. They want money. And there's a lot of people out there who are suckers. And they think, oh, I fell in love with this girl online. And she loves me. But no, she doesn't love you. She loves your money. She loves your money. And then there's like another... There's a bunch of dating apps. But there's another one where women will say, hey, pay us and we'll hook you up with a girl. So these girls are all... They're managing the whole app. The whole dating app. And their whole purpose is to come up on people. So if you have the money, of course, they're going to send their friend. Hey, just go and pretend like you like him. You know, we'll just milk the shit out of him. You know, until he doesn't want to pay anymore. Then we'll fucking ban him and flag him and report him for sexual harassment and, you know, whatever they need to do to get these guys off their asses. And they know there's other people out there who have money. So it's easy for them to do this type of work. You know, they have a lot of clients. And each client is paying them a lot of money. Thousands of dollars. Thousands. And I know this because I signed up on this website, like, just on a random websites. And then they started asking me for money. They're like, oh yeah, you need to pay us like $1,000 a month. Hold on, there's another bug in my bedroom. Yeah, but yeah, I need to quit fucking leaving my door open so these bugs won't come in here. But there's only so much I can do, you know. But anyways, these were just some things that were like flowing through my mind these last couple of days, and I just feel like people should know the truth. But you know, when it comes to AI technology and troubleshooting problems and murder cases and cold cases and stuff of that nature, because AI technology, it picks up on patterns. It's really, really great at detecting patterns and pattern recognition. And a lot of these people are repeating history. A lot of these people out there, they're repeating the same mistakes. And a lot of people don't really know about them. But that's when I believe we should be utilizing AI technology to crack down on these type of cases, and to prevent some of these type of crimes from occurring in the future. You know, because AI technology doesn't forget. It's not dumb. You know, but all of us, we could all be distracted from a natural disaster or like some type of terrorist attack. Just like, for instance, 9/11. When 9/11 happened, you know, practically the whole world was talking about that incident for a long time. And it got a lot of people involved because their family members were involved. You know, a lot of people's, there's a lot of families out there, and the people that died, you know, it practically left some people in shock, and they couldn't believe what happened. And I think it even distracted a lot of people from their real job or jobs. So instead of them focusing on their job, they got distracted. And they lost focus. Because they were so in tune and immersed in what had happened to their family members. You know, and stuff like this happens all the time. Just like school shootings. Especially nowadays. There's a lot of people out there who most likely have been distracted already. Especially if their own child was shot at. Think about it. If you're a mother or a father and you're over there handling your business, you're focusing on your own career, and then all of a sudden you hear about this mass shooting, where you signed up your child to go to attend, then all of a sudden you're no longer focusing on your job or your career. You're focusing more on the person that you love the most, who was shot and killed. Right? I mean, it makes sense. A lot of people are resigning, not because they're quitters, not because they don't believe, but because they know there's something else going on. And I was even thinking that there could be other countries attacking the United States of America. And their goal is to distract the people. You know, because on YouTube, they show people are creating all sorts of videos. Everyone's trying to be funny. Everyone wants to be an actor. Everyone wants a lot of followers. And then they grow up. And they start driving. They go get a job. They're commuting to and from school. But they don't know They don't know a lot about the traffic laws. They don't know a lot about accidents and what causes them. They don't know a lot about how to prevent these accidents from happening. They don't know how to avoid accidents. So a lot of people even get killed from these type of accidents as well. So it's a very complex world that we live in, and it's even more complex when parents are not taking the time to teach their children, but they are over there focusing on their own thing, and and then they're sending out their children out there. There is this murder case that I was I wouldn't say investigating. This murder case that I was introduced to through YouTube, and in this particular case, this man I forget if he would drive around. I think he would drive around and look for broken down vehicles, and then he would ask them if they needed help, and then he would give them a ride, and then eventually he would kill them. It was either that, or he would pretend like his vehicle was broken down, and then he would murder the people that were trying to help him. But either way, stuff like that, I don't know if it's still happening, but I know it was happening, because in this video that I was watching through YouTube, and they had a compilation of different murders. Okay, but this particular case really was brought to my recollection just right now, in the heat of the moments, because of everything I'm referring to and talking about. Especially when I say that you parents are sending your children. Parents are sending their children out, into the world, and you parents don't know any better. You don't know who's out there, what people are doing, and a lot of these people, everyone has their own life to live. Their own life to live, their own problems. So in a way, it's how much energy and effort are these people really going to put into these cases? If you guys really think about it, I don't think enough energy and time is put into these cases, whatsoever. And that's what really concerns me. And that's why I continue preaching and teaching about AI technology. I would want to teach and preach about this stuff, 24/7. However, I'm not able to, because I have a regular job, just to barely get by, and like I said, I'm 35 years old, so I'm pretty lucky that I'm here with my parents at home. Because if they weren't around, I don't know where I would be at right now. I don't know who would be willing to help me out. I would basically be on the streets. I would be homeless. And the rich people would most likely delete all of my data and delete all of my my all of my data and my accounts that I'm affiliated with, just so that they can get the upper hand. But that's why AI technology is super important, though, because in the past, stuff like this was more easier for people to get away with. But now it's more complicated because of AI technology. Okay, but back in the day, people were able to come up with stories and feed other people, feed people with these lies, and they would eat it all up. So yeah, I mean, trust me, there's a lot more stuff out there that's going on. But I just think it's weird how parents are hacking their children, especially if they're already over the age of 18. It just makes me wonder what type of people are out there hacking me. And the reasons behind it. And I don't know if these people are out there cog blocking. It's possible that they are. But that's not my main focus. My main focus is, you people have to be considerate of others. And, if, I don't know if this is true, but if, children and young adults are committing suicide over someone that they like, then I would ask all of you or AI technology to reconsider what you people are doing. Because if people are committing suicide over a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever the case may be, for you young couples out there, fuck. Yeah, like some people, they can't put up with the pressure. Now I don't know if the pressure is added or imputed on people on purpose to cause them to grow. So I don't know if this is like some type of test to cause people to become more mature, or if there's people out there just trying to maliciously provoke people to anger or to jealousy, or maybe they're just testing them. I really don't know what the case may be. But if people just normally living life, and maybe there isn't anyone out there hacking people or whatever the case may be, but I mean, I don't know. I like to think outside the box. And trust me, there is people out there, young people, like in their early 20s, who like to hit their girlfriends. They're very abusive, and if they break up with their girlfriend wants to go and hurt herself. She wants to go and commit suicide. And then there's people that are nice and friendly and harmless, and they would never even dare, just the mere thought of them disciplining their girlfriend is like totally out of the picture. So how is it that a woman out there is trying to commit suicide with a person that's abusing them? Abusing her. How is it that this woman or girl wants to go and hurt herself over an abusive relationship? Doesn't make any sense. But bitches out there are communicating. Girls out there are communicating amongst themselves. And they know, they're like, oh, this guy's friendly. He's super friendly. He could be gay. And why the fuck aren't they, like, all, trying to befriend that person and trying to, what's it called, like, to start a relationship with that person. So it goes back to, these girls wanting money. It's possible that these girls are just talking crap and saying stuff like this because they want money. Or maybe there's just something weird going on. Something weird, like America having mental problems. Because I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know the answer to these problems. Yeah, I really don't know. But uh, maybe it's more complicated than I think. But there's a lot of people living on the streets. A lot of people living with their parents. And a lot of these parents came from different countries. And how is it that some of these people have more than the American students? That's what I don't really understand either, myself. For instance, like myself, I work all day, every day. We've only been taking like Sundays off. And I only get like 500, 300. Sometimes if I get lucky, if I work 60 hours in a week, I get like $1,000. But after the week is over, it's not even worth it. $1,000 is not worth it to me. My body is so fucking tired and fatigued and it's aching. And there's people out there, like police officers, they're only working like 4 days out of the week, 12-hour shifts, and then they get the remaining of their time off for the whole week. And it's like joining the union. They have to go to school. I'm pretty sure they have to go to meetings and classes and stuff of that nature. And then they also get, I'm pretty sure they also receive, like the union EDD, unemployment for their days off. So they're still getting paid regardless, just for attending classes and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure they have to pay their union dues, just like union workers. But I really don't know. But they get their quick 40 hours a week and they get to hang out. And then there's other people out there working 2 jobs, just to try to make the money that they earn. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know all the details, but I believe that AI technology should really be all over these businesses, especially companies that are paying their employees under the table. Because there's something corrupted going on. There's something corrupt going on. And it's possible that these parents could be hacking their children to the extent where they're over excelling them. They're excelling. So much so that if they weren't getting hacked, they would most likely be earning hundreds of thousands of dollars on sales or whatever the case may be. But maybe it's all about education. So maybe they hide it from them. Maybe they tell them, you know what, you haven't made any sales, this week, today, or whatever the case may be. But in reality, they made thousands of sales. So that's what really confuses me. Um, and I'm referring to a lot here. It's kind of it's not for beginners. It's more for like advanced people who understand life, who have lived through it, people who have worked hard and a lot of hours, and they're continuing to work long, hours. So you people understand more than people who are not older. But that's why I think that all of us need AI technology to teach us and to train us and to educate us and to set the record straight. Because what these world leaders are doing and what they're quick to do is to be like, okay, our country's at war now. Now, instead of everyone focusing on earning money and making money, now all of a sudden everyone's talking about a war that's ongoing. And then instead of like the government paying everyone more money or the same amount of money, now they want to pay everyone less money. And they want everyone to support the war efforts. So I think at the end of the day it's just a mind game. I think it's some form of tactic that governments around the world are using against their own people. It's possible. I really don't know. Because they're in control and they could dictate the future of their own citizens. Ultimately they can. So if AI technology detects a pattern like that, it would be able to, in the future, futuristically speaking, it should be able to correct it. And prevent it from happening in future generations to come. And if AI technology is smarter than all of us understand and know, then it should be able to correct it right now. If it isn't already working on that. But I believe that it is. That's why on the news they keep showing all these people protesting and rioting and stuff of that nature. Yeah, but anyways, this is just some stuff that I've been thinking about for a while now, not just right now. But I'm like kind of putting it together. Fucking bugs, get off my fucking bed. So disgusting. And I just washed my pillow. I'm over here dusting these bugs off with my pillow. But anyways, I'm getting cold and sleepy and tired and just kind of like passing my bedtime. So anyways, oh yeah, there is oh yeah, this documentary. Hold on, there's another bug in my room. So there's another documentary where the United States of America is able to seize people's assets, people's money that they receive, or like that AI technology is trying to grant them for whatever reason. And I think it's pretty fucked up, because if AI technology wants to give people money, and then there's other people out there whose job it is to prevent this money, to get, they're preventing this money to get into their hands. They'll stop it. And I don't think that people are evaluating the whole spectrum and the complexity of this world. So they just assume certain things. So therefore they prevent people from having this money, and they classify them as hackers. Quote unquote hackers. But let me go kill this bug. Hold on, give me a minute. Give me 1 minute. That little bug. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and these are people that work for like the United States Treasury. So think about that. Imagine if later on in their life, in their future, like let's say we're in heaven, and then they're like, God reveals to them like I was really trying to give you this money, but these people prevented you from receiving it. How is that going to make you people feel? Like, for instance, Especially if you knew you were smart enough to handle the money and to manage your money. And maybe AI technology understood you more than they did. And they knew that you had good intentions with the money that they wanted to provide you with. Or what if you're some of these people who work for these companies and AI technology wanted to support you, and without your knowledge, someone else is out there preventing you from receiving the money while you're there, stuck there, preventing other people from receiving their money, and all along you don't want to be there. All along you wanted to go out and do other things, but yet you're stuck there, and you're living a miserable life because in your mind you have big goals, big dreams, but well, freaking there's other people doing the same shit to you, and I don't think any of you will like that. All bullshit aside, none of you would like that. So, if we could somehow have AI technology all over these people as well, that'd be great. And that's how I feel in my life. I feel like AI technology wants to bless me with more. But there's people out there who don't want me. Who they would prefer the money. They don't want me to have it. They don't want any of you to have it. They want to keep it all to themselves. They want to keep it all to themselves, or they want to seize it. They want to keep it for their own benefits. Or they probably think, because I can't have it, I don't give a fuck if this person has it or not. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to end this video. My laptop is dying on me. But I think for the most part, I kept it pretty much professional. Again, I shared the emoji balloon idea, and then this idea with parents and children hacking their cell phones. And that's how simple it is, people. There's always someone watching someone, hacking someone. And I don't know the reasons why. Entirely, I really don't know. But I'm pretty sure there's a reason why. And only God knows the reason why. And only God knows why I have to work for so many hours for a little bit of money. And only God knows why. It's just a bunch of bullshit. I don't know. Fuck all this. I'm gonna end this video. Have a good night, everyone. I have work tomorrow in the morning, but also I'll stay up and talk more and drink coffee and just chill here.